Hello, I'm Owen Thorne. Take a slow breath in, letting the cool night air fill your lungs, and then exhale ever so gently. You've come here tonight to find rest, to set aside the busyness of the day, and to drift away on a calm tide of words. Listen closely, and you'll catch the faint hush of midnight breezes gently stirring through ancient streets. Tonight's story will guide you into a realm of hushed corridors and hidden alcoves, into a place long forgotten by time, an enigmatic haven known as the Lost Library of Alexandria, where quiet reverie unfolds under star-flecked skies. Breathe in once more and feel your body begin to loosen and settle, your limbs growing wonderfully heavy with each soft, measured exhale. Now, as your breath deepens and steadies, let the story gently take shape around you, and allow yourself to slip into its comforting embrace. At the gentle stroke of midnight, an old traveler arrived in Alexandria, a city that shimmered with possibilities beneath the moon's silver light. This traveler, cloaked in a soft woolen robe, stepped onto smooth, time-worn cobblestones that bore ancient footprints and faint echoes of conversations long since faded. A faint hush draped the streets, as if the city itself was in a mellow slumber, dreaming of what once was and what might still be. Overhead, the moon cast a pale glow on towering columns and quiet doorways, revealing just enough of the architecture to spark curiosity, but never so much as to quell the sense of profound mystery that clung to every corner. Down narrow streets illuminated by flickering torches, the traveller walked slowly, listening to the gentle, rhythmic patter of sandals against stone. Beyond the occasional whisper of wind, all was still. Even the ocean, not too far from these streets, seemed to have hushed its usual nighttime lullaby, replaced by a mild, steady hush. The traveller, with thoughtful eyes turned toward the sky, felt an almost magnetic pull, as though Alexandria itself was inviting them to discover something buried deep within its storied heart. Long, flowing cloaks and the scent of salted sea air mingled in the night. Lanterns swayed from low-hanging arches, casting fluid shadows against the walls, while the distant flicker of a candle in a high window hinted at the presence of someone else awake. But the traveller's focus lay beyond these domestic signs of life, drawn instead to a place that only rumours could confirm. A hidden library said to hold more secrets than any single lifetime could reveal. The traveller had heard tales whispered by candlelight, stories of lost scrolls and volumes that held the knowledge of civilizations both near and far. With a mind as open as the night sky, the traveller felt the promise of wonder that few ever glimpse. Passing through a modest courtyard, the traveller noticed a graceful fountain at its centre. Even in darkness, its marble edges glowed faintly, water trickling in a gentle, continuous lull. Along the edges of the courtyard, fragrant vines curled around slender pillars, letting the hush of their leaves murmur quietly. The traveller paused a moment here, drawn by the comforting sound of water. Each droplet seemed to ripple with memory, telling stories of the countless others who must have paused here to reflect or rest. Though night had settled over Alexandria, there was a subtle, shimmering luminosity in the air. It was a quality that often cloaks ancient cities where knowledge once thrived, a glow woven by the countless ideas, debates, discoveries, and dreams that had taken place across centuries. Even with the proud library of old, mostly reduced to legend, the city exuded a special warmth. It was as if layers of time folded upon each other, merging into a single welcoming presence. The traveller felt that presence as a gentle hum beneath their feet, a subtle resonance echoing in the soul, whispering promises of revelations to come. Winding deeper into the heart of Alexandria, the traveller came upon an imposing set of wooden doors set under an ornate archway. The doors looked ancient, yet somehow lovingly maintained, their iron hinges polished and free of rust. A large circular knocker, shaped like a lion's head, rested in the centre, an incongruous emblem that seemed to watch the newcomer with silent vigilance. The traveller lifted one hand, tentatively tracing the curved metal before pressing gently, half expecting to hear a resounding echo. But no sound escaped. Instead, the door gave way, drifting open, as though it had been waiting. Inside was a small vestibule, lit by a single, low-burning lantern. The edges of the room were draped in thick shadows, but the air was calm, cool, and richly scented with ancient parchment, and a subtle spice that hinted at cloves or cinnamon. With each step forward, the traveller's heart beat a measured rhythm, matching the hush of the night. No caretaker appeared, and no voice called out to question this midnight visit. Instead, the silence felt comforting, as if the building itself welcomed such quiet introspection. At the far end of the vestibule, a spiral staircase spiraled downward. Each step was carved from smooth stone, gently worn in the centre from ages of footsteps. The traveller followed it into a softly lit lower corridor, guided only by the faint glow of strategically placed lamps. Here, the corridor's walls were lined with shelves, tall and brimming with scrolls, bound by delicate ribbons and manuscripts that wore covers of deep green, pale blue, and earthen brown. Dust motes danced in the lamplight, floating slowly like tiny golden specks in the air. In the hush of this corridor, time seemed to lose its usual hold. Minutes expanded into an immeasurable calm. The traveller felt no urge to hurry, no sense of urgency. The quiet presence of these ancient tomes seemed to cradle the mind, urging it toward stillness. Each breath carried a soft reverence, as if every inhalation was a silent vow to respect the wisdom contained in those secret shelves. Footsteps fell silent on thickly carpeted floors, each step bringing the traveller deeper into the library's heart. The corridor gradually opened into a vast chamber, an underground reading room, softly illuminated by an ornate chandelier that seemed suspended in mid-air. This space exuded an aura of gentle grandeur. Stone pillars rose from the floor to the ceiling, which arched high above like the inside of a hushed cathedral. Though it was clearly ancient, it felt well tended, as if unseen custodians had devoted themselves to preserving this sacred repository of knowledge. Shelves reached nearly to the ceiling, each corner crowded with scrolls, codices, and manuscripts from distant lands. Languages from across the world, scrawled in graceful calligraphy, peeked out from neatly stacked rows. A wide wooden table sat at the center of the reading room, polished to a gentle sheen. Several chairs were arranged around it, upholstered in soft leather that invited lingering. On the table rested a single parchment, unrolled just enough to reveal a few lines of elegant script. It was written in an old dialect of Greek, the letters curving and looping like vines. A slow swirl of night air drifted across the space, stirring the edges of the parchment, as if inviting the traveller's curiosity. In that peaceful chamber, time itself seemed to bow in deference, allowing exploration without the usual constraints. The traveller approached the table. Candlelight flickered on the parchment's surface. The words that lay open were part of a reflective passage about the nature of dreams, how they guide and comfort the human soul when reason sleeps. There was a gentle resonance to those words, as though they spoke directly to the quiet heart of anyone who read them. Far from feeling alone, the traveller sensed a comforting presence in the stillness. Some intangible force seemed to watch over these corridors and alcoves, seeing to it that only those who sought knowledge with pure intent would find their way. In the gentle hush that wrapped around every pillar and shelf, the traveller began to explore at leisure. The ancient texts spoke in hushed whispers of healing rituals, star charts, philosophical dialogues, and poetic musings on the nature of time and memory. Now and then, the traveller paused to lift a delicate volume from its resting place, carefully turning pages that crackled softly under a gentle touch. There were stories of great journeys across the seas, revelations gleaned from far-off lands, intimate diaries recounting daily life in times of prosperity and strife. But the atmosphere remained serene, as if each document breathed the calm acceptance of having found refuge here. Moving deeper into the library, the traveller discovered smaller reading nooks, each tucked away behind tall shelves. In one such alcove, a plush couch was set against a curved wall, next to a slender table with a dimly lit lamp. The faint glow revealed a window carved into the stone. Standing by this window, the traveller could see a portion of the night sky, the stars shimmering with quiet brilliance. Through that arched opening drifted the distant sound of waves brushing the Alexandrian shore, a gentle lullaby from the sea. In the hush of this hidden library, a story began to unfurl. The traveller read from a slender manuscript of unknown origin, tracing lines of text that recounted a mythic tale of how the library came to be. According to the manuscript, in ages past, wise scholars from across the world gathered in Alexandria to preserve the pure essence of knowledge. They believed that words, once written, held the power to transcend time, giving birth to ideas that could guide future generations long after the writers' voices had faded. The text alluded to a sacred trust, a belief that knowledge freely shared was the lifeblood of civilization. That trust was believed to be guarded by the library's unseen caretaker, an almost mythical figure said to watch over the wisdom collected from countless cultures and centuries. The caretaker, the manuscript hinted, could be felt in the hush of the air, the gentle stirring of dust motes, the flicker of candle flames. As though in response, the flames on the lamps trembled slightly, dancing in a soft hush, inviting a deeper sense of wonder. The traveller sensed no fear, only a growing sense of calm. Hours could have passed, or perhaps only moments. In the hush of the library, linear time seemed unimportant. The traveller recognized that this place, though physically beneath the streets of Alexandria, was also a sanctuary for the mind. Within these walls, memory and imagination intertwined, giving rise to a realm where dreams, thoughts, and curiosity might wander freely. The hush was tangible, yet far from empty. It was a gentle hush brimming with potential, the intangible energy of discovery. Drawn by a faint glimmer from a hallway on the far side of the chamber, the traveller moved away from the main reading room. A soft arch led into a smaller alcove lined with intricate mosaics. These colourful tiles depicted scenes of scholars engaged in gentle discussions, of travellers arriving by sea, of star watchers charting constellations under a night sky. The mosaic's artistry was breathtaking in its subtlety, tiny tesserae capturing the sparkle in a scholar's eye, or the slope of a distant horizon. It was as though the very walls sought to celebrate the joy of shared knowledge. At the far end of this alcove, a hidden archway opened into yet another corridor, which was far dimmer than the rest. Here, the torches flickered as if uncertain, casting elongated, dancing shadows across the walls. The traveller proceeded with slow steps, letting the gentle hush guide them. The corridor ended at a small wooden door inscribed with ancient script. The letters curled like vines around a stylized depiction of an open book. At a mere touch, the door creaked open, revealing a round, domed chamber. At its centre stood a large pedestal upon which lay a single scroll. This chamber bore a more solemn, reflective atmosphere, lit from above by a circular aperture in the domed ceiling. Moonlight streamed through, illuminating the scroll with a silvery sheen. Intrigued, the traveller moved closer. The scroll's parchment appeared old, its edges brittle with time. Yet it emanated a mysterious warmth, as though it had been waiting all these years for the gentle presence of one who would treat it kindly. Carefully lifting the scroll, the traveller unrolled it with tender respect. The letters, penned in a flowing ancient script, spoke of the ephemeral nature of existence. The text described how knowledge, like a gentle whisper, could cross generations, carrying within it traces of each soul who contributed to it. Even when libraries fell to ruin, when fires consumed entire collections, the spirit of the words endured in the hearts of people, living on in memories and retellings. There was hope woven into the text, a reassurance that nothing truly meaningful ever completely vanished. A tranquil heaviness settled around the traveller, not a burden, but an invitation to rest in the stillness. One could almost hear the distant echoes of the library's original patrons, the quiet rustle of robes, the soft scratch of quills against parchment, the mild hum of whispered conversation. The traveller felt an affectionate respect for those who had come before, for the scholars, scribes, and dreamers who had contributed their thoughts and visions to this vast repository. In that moment, every breath expanded with calm reverence, as if time stood aside to allow for a perfect moment of communion. Slowly, the traveller replaced the scroll and let their gaze drift upward through the aperture in the dome. The night sky spread out above, stars shimmering in infinite stillness. A gentle stirring of wind passed through the opening, softly caressing the traveller's face. That breath of air felt like a sign, a subtle recognition that the caretaker of this library existed everywhere in the hush, guiding visitors to whatever wisdom they might need. Retracing steps through the corridor, past the mosaics and the archways, the traveller returned to the main reading room. The gentle golden glow of lamps and the comforting presence of the shelves were soothing, as if welcoming a friend home. At the central table, the single parchment still lay open, the Greek letters glinting faintly in the lamplight. The traveller brushed a hand lightly against its edge, feeling a calm wave of gratitude. Sometimes, the greatest gift a place can offer is a space to reflect, to dream, to remember that the soul's deepest longings often reveal themselves in moments of quiet. Before long, the hush of the library invited restfulness. The traveller felt the weight of the evening settle gently on their eyelids, and the plush chairs around the table offered an irresistible invitation to pause, to let the mind drift. In the subdued flicker of candlelight, the traveller sank into one of those chairs, breathing in the delicate perfume of parchment and time. The hush stretched softly, like a lullaby, intangible, and yet deeply comforting. Across the city above, Alexandria slumbered under a velvet sky. The ancient columns and towering structures slept in serene silence, while gentle waves whispered on the shore. Within the library's hidden rooms, the traveller's breathing grew quieter, matching the tranquil mood of the environment. Soon, mind and body began to slip into a calmer state, thoughts flowing like a slow river meandering through twilight. Somewhere within that drifting consciousness, images of starlit corridors, swirling dust motes, and shelves laden with scrolls mingled into a dreamy tableau. There was no hurry, no pressing question, only the luxurious embrace of a moment set apart from time's usual demands. The caretaker's gentle presence, felt in every lamp's flicker, seemed to whisper blessings of serenity. In that dreamy haze, knowledge and restfulness merged, forming a comforting sense of assurance that all was as it should be. Outside, the moon made its slow journey across the sky. Its silvery beams filtered through courtyards and columns, painting the city with soft, pale glimmers. The library's entrance remained respectfully closed, untroubled by any late arrivals. In the quiet realm below, the traveller's mind rested in the sanctuary of the Lost Library, each breath aligning with the library's ancient rhythm. In time, a gentle shift in the air hinted at the approaching dawn, though the sun had not yet risen. The traveller stirred slightly, lulled by a subtle awareness that another chapter of night was coming to a close. But there was no rush, no urgent call to leave this peaceful refuge. Instead, the library's hush seemed to soften further, inviting a gradual transition from the dreamlike realm back to the quiet wonder of being awake. Heavy-lidded and cradled by the arms of the chair, the traveller listened to the stillness. Let it lull them further into a comforting, restful state. There was something exquisitely reassuring in the knowledge that, even after centuries, peace and wisdom could thrive quietly beneath a city's bustling streets. The library, timeless and patient, gave sanctuary to those who sought its gentle presence. As the night deepened toward its final hour, the library seemed to breathe in unison with the traveller. No pressing decisions or heavy thoughts remained, only a warm sense of belonging. The library, a guardian of ages, silently promised that all was well, and that, in the hush of midnight, one could find solace in ancient wisdom. Slowly, that hush began to guide the traveller's breathing into an even, tranquil cadence. Thoughts loosened, like leaves drifting from a quiet tree. Muscles relaxed, from the traveller's brow to their fingertips, surrendering to the library's soft invitation to rest. Like a gentle tide rising up the shore, sleep approached with a quiet, comforting inevitability, enveloping the mind in a peaceful cloak of silence. Now, in the final moments of the night, the library's light glowed softer, almost dimming in sympathy with the traveller's descent into deeper rest. The caretaker's presence felt more like a warm tide, gently encouraging complete surrender to slumber, whispering that the hidden library would remain as a steadfast companion, holding all the wanderer's hopes and curiosities until they were ready to rise once more. And so, in that place of quiet reverie, the traveller drifted near to sleep, body and soul cocooned by the comforting hush. The knowledge contained within the library's countless scrolls seemed at peace, unhurried, content to wait for future seekers. For now, the only purpose was to rest, to let the gentle hush cradle each breath, each slowing heartbeat in patient devotion. Gradually, the hush itself became the traveller's world, soft, velvety darkness, a calm that promised renewal. All sense of hurry or thought of tomorrow slipped away, replaced by the welcoming arms of a night unbroken by worry. The city above lay in slumber, and here below, the traveller found a deeper sleep still, lulled by the resonance of secrets guarded through centuries. Soon enough, the soft wave of rest smoothed every last ripple of wakefulness, The library's caretaker, intangible yet ever-present, stood vigil in the flicker of each candle flame, the hush of each corridor, and in that unwavering calm, the traveller finally surrendered entirely, drifting into the realm of dreams, certain they were safe and welcomed. In these gentlest of final moments, let your own breath become slow and shallow. Feel the weight of your body as it sinks into comfort, letting your limbs grow soft and slack. The hush of Alexandria's Lost Library enfolds you as well, bearing you away from the day's cares. Let those cares dissolve like sand passing through a gentle current. Rest in the knowledge that, like the traveller, you too are cradled by ancient wisdom, the soft lull of the night, and a mysterious caretaker who guards your gentle dreams. Every page turned, every whisper read, has led you here, to this sanctuary where sleep comes naturally and easily. Now, let the drifting hush embrace you, warm as a familiar blanket, soft as the glow of a distant star. Feel your eyelids grow ever heavier, weighed with the sweet promise of deep sleep. Hear the faint echo of the library's silence, beckoning you to release all remaining tension, to trust the quiet hush within. You are free to let go. You are safe. You are cherished in this midnight realm where knowledge and dreams intertwine. So rest now, dear traveller, in this peaceful place. Let the hush of Alexandria's Lost Library watch over you, gently guiding you into slumber's tender domain. Good night. Sleep well, and when you awaken, may you carry with you the calm assurance of every story that has ever dwelled in hushed, hidden archives. May your dreams be tranquil and your spirit at ease, for the night is long and kind, and sleep's gentle arms are ready to cradle you until the first rays of dawn. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well.